Plus, looks like we finally got some Star Trek related content to talk about for a change. It's been kind of a slow week here, but allow me to deal with more serious issues. Oh yeah. Anyhow, now anybody say, are you sure about this? I'm not 100% sure. Can be 100% sure of anything going on there, but my gut is saying it's real. So I dropped my big one on that. So let's get to the actual. Try and steer this channel back to what's going on here. We'll think about Strange New Worlds, promising to bring more original characters into the. No, God, no! You've done enough damage as it is. I mean, they brought in Scotty with the season finale here, a lieutenant junior grade. Scotty is about 10 years older than Kirk. Like McCoy, McCoy and Scotty were contemporaries. They were about around 10 years or so older than Kirk. Kirk is in his mid-30s. Scotty and McCoy were in the mid-40s. I'll also remind you that, Jimmy Doohan was wounded during D-Day, okay? That's how he lost a finger in one hand. It was friendly fire, unfortunately. The Germans never laid a finger on him. It was a fellow Canadian. But yeah, he was wounded during the D-Day invasion. He's like, oh. They got an actual Scottish actor, but his accent is so over the top. It's like, really? You couldn't get him to tone it down a bit? No, there's oh no, please. That's part of the reason that they screwed up, Strange New Worlds, is they keep introducing original characters, and they're stupid. Oh look, we're honoring the past. No, you're not. You're bringing in people who have no business being there. Mbenga had no business being on the ship during this period. Where the hell's Dr. Boyce? Where's the characters that were established for that time period? What few there were. I mean, I like Ortegas, but where's Lieutenant Tyler? No. Enough. And kind of along the same lines here from Fansided Daily. Got a couple of them here from Chad Porto on this. The Star Trek showrunners should be wary of using their interpretation of things. Let's just read it out here and see. Let me just call it up here. Where are you? So you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. And make sure I'm actually in the picture here just for continuity's sake. There we go. Yeah, here's the title. There's something. No, that's not something else. Never mind. Hold on. Got the wrong one there. Let me pull that back here. Stop that. Live TV, folks. Gotta love it. Right. There we go. That's the one. Yeah. Their showrunners should be wary of these and their interpretation of things. And Star Trek Strange New Worlds need to keep their egos in check. First season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds was a hit. Season 2 has still had its fan base, but critics and fans were less inclined to enjoy it. Part of the reason why Season 1 was so wholly embraced was due to the back-to-basics approach for the season. Part of the reason Season 2 stumbled was the showrunners getting away from that. Instead of giving us compelling stories, the producers went with gimmicks, musicals, crossovers, and it felt more like a CW show trying to be trendy than a Star Trek show trying to be good. The moral dilemmas are gone this season for the most part. Instead, we were given browbeating rhetoric and half-hearted complexities that were wrapped in mysteries. See Lost in Translation. The decline in satisfaction as a whole is marked notably by the big swings that the producers took this year. While it stirred a frenzy with the Twitter folks, most fans were not warm to them. Notably, the musical episode is the second worst scored IMDb for the franchise. Second worst. That means you beat out probably some rather big things that, Spock's brain, I think, stuff like that. And then the children shall lead. Wonder if I beat out the alternative factor. I need to check that. A lot of this has to do with the hubris of the showrunners. They're failing to remember that this show is ours, not theirs. They come and go with each series, but we're here through it all. Many fans aren't liking the direction they're going, and it is only going to get worse. Star Trek Strange New Worlds showrunners need to rein in their egos. Speaking of the inverse, Akiva Goldsman makes it clear that what came before will never matter to them. While Strange New Worlds is a prequel to the original series in canon, showrunners don't care about what came before. This is their show, with Goldman saying, You will never see the Gorn like that. This is the Gorn as we perceive them. This is our version of the Gorn. It's an interpretation. It's the same way the transporter room on the Enterprise is never going to look like the transporter room look at DRS, right? It's our interpretation of it. And listen, we freely admit the Gorn work. No, they don't. It destroys the timeline and makes Arena an episode that no longer makes sense or works functionally, but it's good change. No, it isn't. Yeah. That said, this is the same company that thought the new Trek Klingons were a good idea. Again, the show's own interpretation of how they see Klingons. That didn't work, and it got the show overhauled due to the complaints. While fixing some things that didn't work before is fine, remember to read the room. Showrunners are not bigger than the fandom. Listen to what they're saying before you start making changes that damage your franchise forever. Be less like Star Wars and more like Star Trek used to be. And frankly, Star Wars has done a better towing the line. They're not blatantly violating the old canon. They're working it more subtly, which may be more damaging, but that's another discussion. Let's pull that here. And another one from Porto over there on Fansided. Where am I? Hold on. What am I doing? Go in the toolbar. Yeah, let's bring up the other one here. Anyone waiting for Star Trek 4, the fourth JJ Trek movie? That's a long wait for a train that ain't coming. Okay. Sounds like Star Trek 4 is all a bit dead at this point. Are you hoping for Star Trek? Hoping for Star Trek? No? Good. Yes? Oof, maybe time to sit down, buddy. It's not happening. Not anytime soon. Let me get this out of there. Not anytime soon, if not ever. Paramount has so much infighting over the direction they wanted to go that's actively affecting the product on screen. Which screen? Every screen. Speaking with the crowd at the recent Star Trek Las Vegas event by Inverse, Star Trek star Zachary Quinto revealed there is no movement on the fourth film, and there doesn't appear to be anyone trying to make it happen. And the Quinto quoted here, I think it's about different people having different agendas and ideas about what it would be. I don't know if and when it will happen. If it coalesces again and we come back and we're able to do it, wonderful. If not, we had a great run. And that's it. It has been doomed from the start. Going back to the start of last year when Star Trek 4 was formally announced by Paramount, the whole thing has been a disaster. None of the crew were under contract when the announcement happened. First mistake. Nor was even a script written, let alone ready to be made. Then it was revealed that the talent was negotiating, but Chris Pine had signed on. Then it was Pine was looking through scripts, but the film still didn't have a director or writer. Then they got a director, Matt Shackman, who then left to work due to the lack of finished script to work on Marvel's Fantastic Four. Then we found out that Star Trek 4's Carl Urban was filming The Boys in another country at the same time Paramount was looking to begin filming. Then it all fell apart and the project was shelved once again when no one could agree on a script. And none of this even covers anything before the first quarter of 2022. Rumors of a dread, I was looking forward to Quentin. He gave me a good take on it. Now, Quentin was thrown out, as well as a version of Madam Web director S.J. Clarkson, who was involved at the time, and then she went nowhere and by, probably back to EastEnders. I don't know what the hell Abrams was thinking about making an announcement when nobody was signed and no script was made, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? Besides it's just being stupid, you now have all negotiating power in the hands of the cast. Because now they can just stymie the whole, oh, really? Well, if you just announced you went, well, you got to have me and you got to pay for me. I want my contract doubled. Every one of them does that, and guess what? $100 million, budget for the thing starting off just for the budget of the actors. Congratulations. You wonder why it's not happening? Because in that respect, JJ's an idiot. I don't know what the hell he was planning on doing, like just making the announcement. We'll force them to make it. No, especially not with Paramount. Paramount's always been one of the stingiest, studios in Hollywood. They're like, no, they aren't going to spend any more money than they have to. Their home video division has always been suspect because again, they don't want to spend any more money than they have to. It's like pulling teeth trying to get them to put extras on the damn thing. I think the only reason the director's edition happened is because it was still in Bob Weiss's contract that he was guaranteed final cut, and he never got final cut. The director's edition was his final cut, getting that. And it's still, and again, the thing, he wasn't quite done, so he had people finish it after he's gone. So the Blu-ray edition of Star Trek Motion Picture Director's Edition, that is the final cut. So take your theatrical edition, shove it up your ass. That didn't count. It was a test screening. It was a rough cut, not finished. Things weren't there. They weren't going to be, bye. So I don't hear more about, oh, Vulcan has a moon now. No, it doesn't. Look at the director's edition. That's the official version. No moon, and other things. And it's a little tighter. It's a faster, better paced movie. You had a few things put back in that should have been left in, et cetera, et cetera. Now, on to the next item here. We got an interview with Dan and Kevin Hageman of with the Prodigy, and it's over on TrekCore.com. Let's go and pull this up for everyone to see. No point hiding things. There we go. There, they're smiling faces. Okay. It's one of the interviews they do there. It's, that's how it's been about 2 months since Prodigy was canceled at Paramount Plus. And again, it's not really fair to say cancel because they are finishing. It's been pulled from the set from the schedule, but they are spending money to finish it, and they're shopping it around. So, and so they're apparently it's kind of part of the plan to begin with. They only but at least it came about because whatever the Paramount is in serious money problems right now, and if they can get someone else to to farm it out and like. Right now, probably Netflix, Amazon, one of the big, they can pick it up and they can fund the thing. And if it's a hit for them, and they want to pay more seasons, great. More go to it. Because Paramount was probably not going to go more than 3 seasons total on the thing. So. And it's a few things they're expressing, kind of solidarity with the strike, but they work for a different union. Turns out, actually, the Animation Guild. They're still working. And I'm not sure how SAG figures into that. But as far as writing and producing, no, they're still slaving away. They're working on the same calendar they had before. Nothing's changed on that. And they figured they'll have the end of second season done by around December. So that will be wrapped up. And then it's just a matter of finding a home for it. But at this point, the talks are very high level. Like it's just the studio heads and talking to Netflix and Amazon stuff. Once it starts getting into someone actually offering a number, then they'll be brought into it and they'll get to join in. But right now, it is so high they're not even part of the conversation yet. But they're sure it is happening. They are looking to find it, and it's like 99% sure it will find a home. So. Just stay tuned on that and talk a little bit about getting the Voyager A. And so there was great discussion about what ship to use, and but they thought the ship is as much a character on these shows as anything else. So they had to make sure they didn't just slap any old stuff. No, they need to get their own ship, and it's kind of like the slightly supersized Intrepid with looks like almost sovereign nacelles type design type thing. So this should be good. And that named after Hedy Lamarr, who's not just a old movie actor. She was definite brainiac. Or in fact, she during the war she invented a system to basically prevent Allied torpedoes from getting jammed by the Germans because they would send out some kind of mechanical signal that would freak out the targeting system, and she worked out a way to work around that. But also talk about the merchandising thing. The people are waiting. They want these toys. So they're pre-ordering them. Yeah, no, they'll have funds, but they want their toys. The enthusiasm is there. But unfortunately, thanks to JJ stuff not selling, Star Trek is no longer a sure thing in the stores. So congratulations, JJ. You fucked that up too. Yeah, the work is proceeding, and they there's the line of figures that they get a little bigger here. Dow, Gwen, Jenkumpog, get that out of my way, and Zero with a few more to kind of Rock talking. He'll be a massive character all on her own there. Yeah, he's got a Murph, I think. And I think there's supposed to be a hologram Janeway in there too. So, but I'm waiting for they need to start getting the models. They Polar Lights needs to put out a model of the Cerritos and of the Protostar. And then this one, the Voyager A, they start getting on that. That's some pretty good, looks here. Very definite callbacks to the motion picture with the fly around. And there's also, and of course, the sneak peek they gave you at the Vegas con. So it's like they're bringing back the Doctor, and I was, I'm sure others did, but I became look. Surely, the ship's got an EMH, so. And he would, because he was making a noise. Hey, is there room for me on their cage? Of course, that should order much of a sick bay anyway. All right, so I know there was something. Before we're going down another rabbit hole here. No, they. Oh. Listen, I knew there was something else Star Trek related I wanted to jump onto before, again, going back to the drama. But I'm sure it might come to me later. But for now, I'm saying some up about what's going on. It's like some guy accused me of doxing her parents now. No, it's only doxing if you publish the information. Okay, I'm not publishing a damn thing on there. Okay. Just because I have the information doesn't mean it's doxing. It's only if I make it. Hey, here's her home. Here's her parents' address. Go for it. No, that would be doxing, dipshits. But I have shared the letter with a couple of friends, and one of them said, "Yeah, this, the heartfelt sincerity is great. You've got to do the trick on that." And waiting for another reaction, but I've gone over myself to make sure I didn't really screw up here. What do we got here? Somebody's trying to get a message. No idea who she is, so nope, we'll buck that. Get rid of that. Okay. So, and also, now I've sent a link out to Rosetta if she wants to show up and we can talk here. Got to figure, at least get some Star Trek content out there in front right off the bat. So yeah, first 18 minutes. That's you've been brought up to date. Like I said, I knew there was something. Like I said, it might come to me later. But again, anybody, nobody should go into something like what I've been doing lately with 100% certainty. Okay, and that one you are insane. If you think, good something, and again, it's like the balance of terror in Kirk's quarters. It's like I look around that bridge, everyone's looking at me, make the next move. Ben Pones, what if I'm wrong? I'm open to the possibility that I'm being played a little by somebody here and just being fed. But everything matches up too well. Okay. Everything the changes in Indy's behavior, the way they're walling off everybody and booting everybody out of the way that has a crossword about this. It is looking everything's lined up too much that no, she is being groomed here and he's being set up. And her folks need to know about this. And nothing else. I was like, okay, yeah, okay. I'm sure maybe going down to LA to see her sister, but also hooking up with these other idiots. So they talk a big game, and I think then hopefully her dad's gonna say a word to her sister down there and say, "Don't let her out of your sight." Okay. Don't let her hook up with these perverts down there. We got enough problems as it is with her. So. But it's a case of, look, if I'm wrong, nothing happens, everyone's fine. But if I'm right, things go bad very, very quickly. Okay? So yeah, if I'm wrong and things come, I'll be fine. I'll be happy to be wrong in that case. Okay? Because being right is not a good place to be. Okay? Because I'm getting nightmare scenarios of them having their way with her and then dumping her on a plane, sending her here with a copy of the what would basically be a gang rape video and say, okay, now we've had our turn. Here, you want her so bad, here she is, loser. And then I'm going to pick up the pieces. And that's not necessarily the situation I want to be in. Okay? Like I said, it's better just nuke it from orbit. If they can make a good game, and also if some safeguards in place that no, nothing is going to happen. Make sure nothing is going to happen. Because the characters involved in this one, they're just a little too creepy. All right, they're acting like groomers. They're too much. Anybody who dares say anything cross is being booted aside, being isolated from everything else. And as long as she can still get listen to her parents, I'm going to get her to listen to her parents and get to her. Look, this is the situation we think is going on here. Right? When they opened up the thing, hi, I'm Bob. I'm the creepy old guy stalker she's been telling you about. So let me clear the record here and tell you what's going on from my side of the fence, basically. Now, it might be awkward explaining. How'd you get my address? You wouldn't believe how easy it is to get, actually. You might want to do something about that. No. But yeah, this is not, I'm not enjoying this, believe me, okay? But yeah, these guys, if she's not being groomed, then they sure as hell are acting like they're grooming her, okay? No. But all right. We got 3 people here and no one's talking. I would appreciate some questions or maybe bring up the item that I wanted to bring up but forgot about on Star Trek related. Oh well, like I said, as far as the fighting going on within Paramount regarding what to do with Star Trek, it's like I think like Star Trek pointed out that legacy will happen. It is made abundantly clear the fans want that. Let me turn this down a bit. I'm getting a little blazed out here. The petition went nuts for legacy. Okay, and I threw a little thing in Jerry Ryan's way. It's like look, you could just do the Space to Find a Frontier, and that way we can go nuts with our proposed opening narrations. You got to show the Enterprise. You got to have the opening narration. Okay, that's just the way it goes. So we can get her to do that and say, have her read the Voyage of the Starship Enterprise. Yeah, that could be fun. But Academy is, let's say it's not looking good for Starfleet Academy. Sorry, Mary Weissman, but it looks like Tilly might not be making a return. Not that was apparently, I don't know what the hell was guaranteed anyway, but the 902 and 90210 in space is not going to happen. At least not in the way they thought. It's not, it's like Section 31. It was going to be an ongoing series, chopped down to 1 movie. And again, the utter lack of enthusiasm for Academy, it's like, no, this was never really, even going back to the days when Roddenberry himself was, they were bouncing around ideas. They're trying to do a spinoff. An Academy idea was bounced around and was rejected then. And it's every few years someone brings up, how about we go to the Academy? Well, the worst thing is when they talk about Kirk and Spock at the Academy. They weren't at the Academy at the same time, okay? McCoy probably never went to the Academy. So, of course, that didn't stop JJ from throwing everyone there. Of course, he totally mucked it up. Spock's already a commander. Well, what? What the hell? Did you even watch the damn? No, he didn't watch. He did. He wasn't a fan of the show. He didn't watch it. His friends did, but it was a little too philosophical and talky for him. Why the fuck are you directing this movie? Why do they continue to interview him after they said that? It's like, no, go. You're wrong. You will destroy this. Get out of here. Normally I don't drink Mountain Dew, but I got the couple of them at the food bank yesterday. Okay, fine. That's a diet Mountain Dew. It's really out of my ballpark as far as that goes. But it's like with that article about it's like Goldman and his crew need to start tempering their ambitions and egos. I like the one line. This show is not yours, guys. It's ours. Okay, that's made pretty clear. The fans have a very proprietary ownership of the show, and the way you can't. Without fans, you ain't got a show. You know what do you got? You're doing a show and nobody watches. You're just basically jacking off in front of the camera. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. So let's just And they made it quite, we weren't really concerned about Canon. Well, then why should I give a shit about your show? If nothing matches up with anything, why do I give a fuck about your show? Yeah. I don't. It's not even, alternate time. It's just, no, nothing matches up. On my little thing with the, let's see, let me pull it up here. As long as I'm going to start reciting other things. Well, I'm going to have to follow. Hold on, I have to fire up the graphics program for this. But if only all you're going to do is just strip miner for names and replace names and character names, and don't give a rat's ass about how they line up or anything, then it's like, again, you're not really Star Trek. You're a variation on it that doesn't affect anything whatsoever. Nothing you do is going to reflect on what's going on in the later shows. And with everything they're doing, it just kind of also makes it easier to just shunt off the rest of the whole thing. It's like, well, nope, they don't count at all. Nothing's going to do. Okay, so Star Trek. Canon issues. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull this one up here. It shows the canon issues, the timeline matters rather graphically here. Basically, the way it goes is this line going down the middle. There is your primary canon Star Trek timeline. I don't like using prime. That's a J.J. Abrams creation thing. No, canon is not prime. What J.J.'s, that's a prime timeline. And what Nero came along, he screwed up the prime timeline and created his little timeline for the movies. So I think I might do a separate thing. I might have something here actually, but basically, something happened back here. I put it back around the temporal Cold War, when everything went bluey. You still get your main timeline, and this is where Archer hit the reset button and largely starts doing it, and things start coalescing eventually. That's why you have certain things happening that happen here that make perfect sense. They happen over here. It's a little bit of a stretch. Why the same thing, and then further and further, you get stupider and stupider reasons. But eventually, things flow downhill. Because in the Star Trek universe, time is fluid. Like a river following thing, and everything's following downhill. Basically, eventually, you match up with the main timeline again, and certain things stick around for the other things, but for the most part, it's just going to be out. Strange New Worlds is looking like this one. It goes spiraling out here and does nothing. So that's why, you can sell the NX-01, but that rocket and bing, you're going off here the tangent to nowhere. That's where Strange New Worlds is. That's off here somewhere. And Discovery is also and then took off somewhere. And thus, it's like, okay, why should I give a rat's ass about this nonsensical timeline where it's going way over here? You're getting characters that have no business being anywhere near that ship. The ship looking nothing like anything. It's like I said, this design, it's like it was designed, or it was proposed originally as the NX-01 when they're still developing the show. And also kind of, why engineering looks the way it does. The design of engineering came about before they finalized the exterior. So that's why you got the thing going off. It's like, well, the nacelles don't do that on this ship. It's going to be, it's weird. I didn't even notice. What did he try doing? Because I didn't see him. What was he, Oh, whatever. Yeah. Again, we're talking Star Trek here, so bite me. Right. But yeah, this is why and mainly I bet this because why season 3 of Picard is like not quite canon because it's down around here. That's where you start thinking, the more idiotic things start breaking off and getting retconned. Like the USS New Jersey effectively eliminates the Disco Prize from the time because there's a proper Constitution class starship, no qualifiers, no. Look at that, and then I go post. No, it's just Constitution class. Then there, and so guess what? Season 1 and 2 of Picard, where you have the Disco Prize prominent, they fell off, and I got another picture where everything's turned into gray, and then eventually everything just so back into the proper timeline. And whether or not anything remains of that depends. It depends on where or it would be the need. That's where the needs of the writing comes in. Do you need to have this show up for the story? Because here's an explanation of how it's there. That sort of thing. It's kind of like how or how could the ship get to it moves at the speed of plot. Okay. We need the ship to get from Rigel 7 to SETI Alpha 5 in 6 hours. It's like you want. Well, that's not that. Just that. That's what. Just shut up and go with it. Okay, they're doing it for the reasons of the plot, so they can have the story come out right. You can get away with that to a point. It depends on how firmly established you have of where Rigel is and where this other planet is, and and even then, if it doesn't quite match up, you can come up with reasons. Because something that was in the Star Trek maps back in the early '80s or something. They're the big ones, like where I got a copy of them reach, or I think they're back there somewhere. But the big poster size map, two-sided, but also they had the introduction to navigation booklet in there. Good little thing here. And it goes into why warp factors is not just warp factor squared to the speed of to the speed of light. There is more. You also got to take into account the matter density within the area you're going through, because space is not a pure vacuum. There is interstellar dust and gases and stuff. So that the mass does affect things every while, especially on this scale. So you got to apply that and whatever the local matter density is. There's an average in there, and that's why you can get sometimes clear across the galaxy on very short a time. Where in the intergalactic void, where the density reaches close to almost zero, that's when it falls back to just speed of light squared, warp factor cubed on the speed of light. But within it depends on where you're going, how much dust and gas there is in the pace you're going through, which of course what also the deflector to get so nothing actually hits the ship. But that's how that goes. And there's your out for explaining how did you get from there to there, but then this episode you get from there to there, and that take longer. It's all in the writing, kids, and how well you're willing to think it out and put in some little head space and working. Okay, but there's one time when having to come up with an explanation for why star dates varied so much, because originally when they're filming them, and they tried to keep them more or less in sequential order. They messed up a bit, but they're trying to keep it straight for the sake. But the problem is the network would air them out of order for various reasons. Usually because the episode that was supposed to air before this wasn't ready yet. Cobra Maneuver. That's your big example. That was the first episode they filmed. It wasn't aired until until the 10th episode, because it took so long to get everything straight on there. It was a very effects-heavy episode. And I'll be covering that when I do my review. In review, rather. And it's not really a review. It's like I consider that one of the best episodes of the entire franchise because it sets up everything perfectly. It is essentially a third pilot. And it wasn't, and the way it was written is shown. This was going to be the first episode out of the gate, set up our characters properly, set up the situation, and also the resolution was perfectly Star Trek. It wasn't, we've beaten the bad guys, zap them. No, it's like, hey, okay, get a line. We're going to go render some help here, and I love, McCoy's not, Jim, you were there. What's the mission of this vessel, Doctor? To seek out and contact alien life and let them know what our high sounding words mean. Whatever, and that is, that is quintessential Star Trek in a 1 hour package right there. Everything you need to know about the show is right there in that one. I mean, different ones do different things for things, but as far as just essentially just wrap up, this is the show. Essentially, right there, that's why I call it essentially the third pilot, because that's what a pilot does. You want to give the idea of what the show is all about. If you go through it, all the various things you want to introduce about characters, that Spock is comes from a planet where they show no emotion, and Kirk is kind of a thing, and McCoy is the old country doctor, and yada yada yada. He's got a yeoman that annoys him bringing the salad, and Scotty is Scottish, and is the engineer, and I got to leave Morado, and Sulu's the smartest helmsman. It just goes down that line. Although it is the episode where where Nichelle Nichols, where she talking about she's just sick and tired. It's all about all the line, half the lines is all hailing frequencies open, Captain. It's like it's over, and it's like, you got to go clear through the episode before you finally hear her saying something different than hailing frequencies open. And it kind of inspired when the man trap, and if I hear that word frequency once more, I'll cry. But okay, but what goes down there? It's like just the timeline stuff. I don't. Why? No, I'm not even watching it. I watched one episode, the crossover with Lower Decks, because I like Lower Decks. I wanted to see how they were going to handle it. And while it would have been a perfect opportunity to slam its inconsistencies, the rest of it, I understand why they didn't. Because you are in somebody's house in that case, so okay, play along. But it would just would have been, if they'd gone a little nuts and okay, I guess you're. What are you doing in that uniform? You're not a Benga. You look nothing like a Benga. This ship doesn't. It looks nothing like the Enterprise. Okay, we're in an alternate timeline here. But again, they handled it. Everyone did a good job. Jack Quaid and Connie Newsom were their characters. They brought to life in live action. And even Mecca had admit that seeing Beckett Mariner in live action was less annoying than she was in animation, because you can see the emotions. And actually, you can still see it in animation. You just got to be willing to look at the subtleties. It's a slight change in the eyes or the thing. They do a pretty good job. She's just not willing to look at that far because she hates animation. And just the whole just annoys the hell out of her. Okay, fine. That's where I can just say, well, different strokes for different folks. I like it. I also like Rick and Morty. She hates Rick and Morty. So. But yeah, it's like you could take the voice cast of Lower Decks, put them on a live action set, and put in very few changes. You could have to do Doctor, and kind of a suit and CGI stuff because he's a Cation. You'd have to do something there. But the rest of them pretty much, and that bird counselor, they do something there. But by and large, most of them are human, or you got Shax as Bajoran. You can. Rutherford's got his eye implant. The rest, and poor Don Wells, that's painted green all day. Because I'm not sure if it'd be cheaper to do the CGI. But either way, you could do them all live action and still, you'd have a good thing going there. Because what. I don't know what episode it was, but I never heard. But like I never heard this story at all. I don't think I know there was a case of she fell ill on set, and again the whole thing about Shatner personally took her home. I think they're still in costume at this point. Just don't get her the hell home. She needs to get back. Of course, their son at the time. What have you done to my mommy? Like, that's why. What about? I don't know. I don't know this one. What? Well, I haven't read her book. So let me guess. She was looped up on painkillers or muscle relaxer and had the accident on the way to the studio. So she, got through most of the day, but I guess went down. Shatner caught her on the way down, and like, okay, taking her home. That's it. She's done for the day. And like I said, I think it's like everyone, Shatner and Michelle still in costume. Just take her home. Then he comes carrying her inside, and there's their son. They go, "What have you done to my mommy?" So this whole thing about Shatner being some kind of tyrant. No. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So son at the door, and he's there carrying the shelter. What have you done? Because it might be better to say Shatner was kind of thoughtless in how the thing was about. It's like we don't need that. We don't need to say that. No, we're holding things up here. We're just doing busy business. We get to the story. We ain't got that much time. It wasn't a matter of damn it, Bill, you're cutting my line. Nichelle would chime in on that thing, but everyone else just sort of, because at that time nobody had delusions that they're the real star. I'm the one. That was a product of the conventions and the guys who were only fans of Sulu or only fans of her. Imagine John Winston was doing things. Oh, Kyle should have been much more famous. He was the real star. I think. Because I'll tell you, Eddie Paskey played Lieutenant Leslie. He loved Shatner the day he died. Okay, and again, he worked, but again, he very healthy sense of, but also he also did a lot of background extra stuff that dress up with the Nazi or Organian villager. Him and Billy Blackburn, and so they got a lot of work that way, playing background stuff. But Paul Baxley, it was Shatner's stunt double. He played Lieutenant Freeman in Trouble with Tribbles. He also, I think, was in a private little war, the villagers that came up on Nona. And he's all right, he's a good it's Tyree's woman, and he started he would get some lines once in a while, but Billy Blackburn, he was there all the damn time. He never got a single line. He got a name, Lieutenant Hadley, I think it was. Just because he's the guy sitting behind Scotty, in a piece of the action. Lieutenant Hadley, check the linguistics bank. Tell me what a heater is. So he got a line. He got a name. That's right there. And Lieutenant Leslie, they figured he needed a name on something because Kirk was giving him an order. We got a name for this guy. So I can't just call him Hey You. And it's like Leslie. That's one of his daughters. So that's how he got named. But yeah, the people. A lot of people who were out. Good morning. Yeah, a lot of people who work with Shatner. It's like he is great to work with. He's fine. Because even Stephen Collins was talking when he was working with them in the motion picture. He gave him tips on how to position yourself so that the camera is focused on you. Make sure that you are you're dominating when that camera's on you. You're in the scene. You're there. You're not just part of the furniture. And various things. And Rob Burnett, he's a very giving guy actor on the set because he gave Rob the best lesson in the world in making Free Enterprise because first day and they're bringing him, they want to get Shatner out there, but they're still setting up the thing. They haven't quite got it right, and He pulls her up. Rob, come here. When I come to the set, I'm ready to work. That is our time to work and create. They're not. This is their time to set up here. Now, don't please don't waste my time going in on their time to set. Let's get and Rob. Oh, sorry, Bill. Won't happen again. He took it right because this is an education. He wasn't trashing him. He knew, Rob's first time director, so they didn't. Let them work. Let them get it set up. When they're ready, then call me and we'll work and we will create. And then there was a joy to work with for the rest of that movie. And there's various things like that. It's like some story when Dick Durock is one of the Elasian guards in Helena Troyes. And he came, and Shatner, noticed he was a little nervous, and then Shatner's like, look, okay, you play football? Yeah. The butterflies before you? Yeah, that's what you focus on that. Just go down. This is kickoff time. Because Shatner played football in college. So, you knew what to do to get people to settle down. The most hilarious one, of course, is with Angelique Pettyjohn. When, oh yeah, might as well. I haven't told that one in a while. When she came out at Star, I think it was still StarCon Denver. And that was one of the old times I've ever seen them. A few times I've seen them show up in costume. She did the thing, and she's full Shauna thing with a green hair, green wig, and the collar with the thing, and she did a little dance number, a little pretensity, and then she sat down and did a Q&A thing and told her stories, and talking about how she got to the part of Shauna, and she's like 5'4", 5'6" or so. And they're reading the description to her, and reading the description of the character, and it was a green haired Amazon with it. Okay, wait a minute here. Okay, I know the green. I got the green eyes, the green hair. Okay, yeah, that's a wig. But Amazon, really? Come on, look at me. And they started, and the producer laughed. Don't worry, honey. Next to Shatner, you'll be an Amazon. So, not quite knowing what that's about. Okay, fine. So, proceeding to first day rehearsal. And the stunt coordinator, I forget the name, but he played the Andorian in the big fight to the end where they got the Andorian with a knife and he's going up against Kirk. He was a stunt coordinator on the show. Okay, well, and everyone's there and then sneakers and sweats and everything ready to do their work. Okay, we'll be ready to get going as soon as Bill Shatner gets here. So okay, fine, take 5. And time goes by and she wanders over to the craft service table. There's some guy, the guy there. He's a t-shirt and sweats and sneakers and but kind of balding a bit, And she, okay, when does this Bill Shatner guy show up? He turns her, honey, I am Bill Shatner. It's like, what? Nothing at all. It's like, he's in sneakers, so no boost and no hairpiece at this point. So I don't think it was quite bald, but it was definitely thinning. It's like a little thinner than what I got going here, I think. But well, think Commodore Mendez in the Menagerie, of that kind of thing. Okay, that kind of thing. It wasn't, or in the Deadly Years when he first starts getting old. That was most likely Shatner without the hairpiece. That was probably his natural hair there. A little grayed for the effect, but I think that was probably his natural hair, at that point. And there's a website out there, shatnershairpiece.org, where they try and chronicle the whole thing of when was the last time we saw Shatner with all his own natural hair. And I think it was around when he was still on, might have been the time of The World of Susie Wong when he started having to do a hairpiece to cover up the fact that it's thinning a bit. And they show shots where you can tell, where there's a big chook there. Okay, that's a toupee flopping it back. But okay, that's all right. Okay, now we see Shatner. So they go about the thing. They're rehearsing the thing. So now comes time, first day of shooting. First scene they're doing with her and Shatner is in his cell, and it's the thing with the kiss and the thing where sorry, Sean, knocks her out. And he wants to do get this thing down right because and it's not a pervy thing where you want to but he wants to make sure because they have very little time to get this done. They're under pressure. They're already doing like 8-9 hour days as it is if they're lucky. So he takes over the set and tries to dude, let's run this through a bit, make sure we got this. And say, okay, yes, Mr. Shatner. He's like, oh geez, we got a problem. And every time she's just trying to get, and she's just stiff because she's still a little starstruck. Here's the star of the show, and he's becoming at this point. Star Trek is a hit. It is getting attention. He's making the round. He's the name. He's an up and comer. So okay. So let's try it again. And the way she described it was like, okay, so tongue down my throat, hand on my tape, other hand on my ass, up against the wall, grinding with, and you fucking son of a, what are you thinking? I'm a married woman. You thinking? And he's sitting there back there laughing his ass off. And I said, now that we know each other better, why don't you call me Bill? And she's like, realize what he's like, you son of a bitch. It's like, because she knew exactly what he was trying to do. They don't have time to get that and get cut. No, we're starting shooting in maybe an hour or so. Okay, we're waiting for other people to get ready to get in. We got to get this thing going. We don't have time for. So it was like blues and at that point it was smooth sailing from that point out. They finally, okay, fine, relax. God damn it, you're not on Broadway doing this shit, okay? So yeah, and that said, the highest regard for Shatner. And I said, I hope this doesn't make him look bad. It didn't make me great thing to me because it got her to loosen up and to stop being these he's not this tall. That's a toupee up there. That's one of the things is other people's war stories. It's fun. But okay, questions from the audience, folks. Now's your time. No wonder I'm not pushing the Indy stuff. I'm currently in Twitter jail right now because I pissed off John Cusack with the response. So, because he was doing the unhinged, Trump rant about, just throw him in jail, take his phone. And I came back with burn the witch, burn him. Here's the orange pond of Beelzebub, burn him. And then immediately got flags up. Okay, fine. I think I made my point though. So I'm suffering through another 5 days or so of Twitter jail. I can still DM folks, but I can't do anything anything more than that. So I let my minions spread my word throughout the Twitterverse. Like I can afford to have minions. But like I said, there's on the whole thing on there. Am I wrong? Am I being played with that? It is. I'm not totally blind to the possibility that I've gotten this completely wrong. But so far, nothing has come up to persuade me that I've got it wrong. Everything I'm seeing is saying, no, I think you're on the right track here. Let's see what we got here. Come on, you. Here. And you have to do some serious talking to me of the various parties, the way they're acting, of why, I'm not right on this, okay? There's too many things on line up that she is being groomed. She's being sucked down here, and she's walking into a potential trap. Okay. So at the very least, if I can alert her parents of what's possibly going on here, that she's getting perved after by some creepy old men who are walling her off from anybody else who has anything to say about it. It's like, okay, yeah, you want to go to L.A., meet your sister? Yeah, you're sticking with your sister throughout the entire thing. You will not be meeting up with any other thing. You'll not be doing any more gangbangs, okay? It's bad enough you're doing this on your thing. No. We're telling your sister she's going to stick with you like glue, okay? If we can get to that one, I'll consider it a win, okay? Not the total victory because she's still, being somewhat antisocial, frankly. I think one of the things that attracted us in the first place is how open and welcoming she was, and talking back and forth. Now she's like, people she talked to, DM with on a daily basis are completely ignored. She's not, all she's talking to is her little inner circle. She's not, not answering DMs from people she would used to talk to every day. Share content, and like now she's been just blocking everybody out. So that's why I'm thinking, no, something is going on here that is not good. Okay. And I will continue to pursue this as much as I can. I know, I mean, talking to the cops, I'm dancing on the line here. I am, but that's why I was like, I've launched my salvo. So now I sit back, let it happen. Embarrassing from her parents. Well, sorry. And like, you're the one that does internet porn. You're the one who let yourself set yourself up. Then the other one's been groomed twice. Okay. So guess what? You got priors. Okay. And these guys are not exactly endearing themselves to me. Peterman especially is a clear pervert and degenerate. They're talking about that gays are suicide. I just want to see the guy swing. You sick motherfucker. That's why I got you blocked, you mother suckbag. And the rest of them, no. So, and the thing about Elon talking about eliminating the block function, while it might make things easier for me to keep tabs on and contribute to what's going on here, and probably resurrect my reputation a bit because they've made my name mud over there. I do see also that it is a vital safety function for gals who are being stalked, because like Rosetta's having if they lose the block for it, like gone. They got to completely private things because they're people who are seriously off after her to do some serious harm. So yeah, it is a function that can get abused. So can any function, frankly. So I don't know. In short term, it would give me access to try and counter some of this shit, but how many people get hurt in the process? So I don't know. I'll see what happens. And then somebody put a community note that you can't do that, Elon. That's part of the rules of the game of being able to have this thing. You have to have a function to block something. So who knows? It may not actually happen. I'll just muddle through on my thing here. Okay, I think I might as well shut down Twitter at this point because I can't. I've sent her the link. If she pops in, she pops in. All right, so we're almost at an hour. And I made a point of getting the Star Trek stuff up front, so at least you got that. But yeah, I what? Flip what switch? Hold on. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here, because an hour is a good digestible part. So, if it comes around and come back later, I might do something later. But for now, let's just call this one a done one. And we will talk at you later.